Deepavali Valtakal. Thanks for joining me this Tuesday. I'm Tonton, and these are tonight's top stories. Malaysia to look east to empower national education system. Employer engaged in forced labor of foreign workers arrested. And ozone layer is finally healing. Malaysia will further strengthen the Look East policy, particularly with Japan, and hopes for greater cooperation between the two countries. Now, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said Japan's ability to recover so quickly after the Second World War and catch up with developed Western nations should be a benchmark for Malaysia. Therefore, as a start, Malaysia will be looking at the whole Japanese education system to be introduced in the country. According to Tun Dr. Mahathir, education was among the key things discussed in the bilateral meeting with his Japanese counterpart, Shinzo Abe. Both delegations in the half-hour meeting discussed various issues including on education, investment, as well as the yen credit earlier requested by Malaysia, dubbed the samurai bond.
So this time under the Look East policy, we will be looking at the whole Japanese system of education, right from the kindergarten stage on to the higher education in the universities.
Prior to the meeting, Tun Dr. Mahathir, upon his arrival at the Japanese Prime Minister's office in Nagatocho, Chiyodaku, was accorded a warm welcome and inspected a guard of honor mounted by Japanese security forces. In a joint press conference with Abe later on, Tun Dr. Mahathir stated that Malaysia has expressed concern with the struggles in East Asia, which also involved Japan.
We are aware of the threat posed by North Korea, and we feel that the best way to handle this problem is to have contact with them, which is what Malaysia has done.
Meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir has expressed his gratitude to his Japanese counterpart for the country's help in easing Malaysia's financial woes. The Prime Minister said Abe and the Japanese government has adopted a very positive attitude towards Malaysia's financial pressures and the actions it had taken. The Japanese government had offered to guarantee 200 billion yen or 7.4 billion ringgit samurai bonds with a 10-year tenure, which would be used to retire some of the costly loans taken by the previous BN government. Abe also spoke on Japan's commitment to cooperate with Malaysia, particularly in areas such as transportation, adding that a team of experts from the country's railway companies would be sent to Malaysia at the end of the month as part of a study towards this end.
We also welcome the proposal that Kyushu Railway, JR Kyushu, would be looking into the transportation problem of Malaysia and to help us with advice on how to run the national railway.
The Premier also said Abe had assured that Japan is always ready to consider should Malaysia needs its financial assistance in the future. Earlier, Tun Dr. Mahathir was conferred the Grand Cordon of the Order of the Paulownia Flowers by Emperor Akihito of Japan. The conferment of the country's highest award follows the huge contributions by our Prime Minister in strengthening bilateral ties between both Japan and Malaysia. The conferment ceremony was held at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo at 9:45 a.m. local time. The order is the highest award to be conferred upon foreign statesmen for their contribution towards the bilateral relations between their respective countries and Japan, as well as their contribution to the region. Tun Dr. Mahathir is the third leader from Asia conferred the prestigious award after Singapore's Prime Minister, the late Lee Kuan Yew, and former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Yesterday, our Prime Minister was also conferred the honorary doctorate by Tsukuba University, the highest recognition by the academic institution, for his contributions to advance international exchange in the field of research and education. The Premier's 3-day working visit to Japan, his third since taking office as Malaysia's 7th Prime Minister, ends tomorrow. Malaysia's former Chief Justice Tun Zaki Muhammad Azmi has been appointed Chief Justice of Dubai International Financial Centre DIFC courts, which deal with civil and commercial disputes in Dubai, one of the world's leading financial centres. His appointment by Dubai ruler Sheikh Mohammed Rashid Al Maktoum takes effect on November 14th. In response to the appointment, Tun Zaki, currently in Dubai, said the appointment came as a total surprise. The 73-year-old joined the DIFC courts in December 2013, about 2 years after his retirement as Malaysia's Chief Justice. Tun Zaki was made Malaysia's Chief Justice in October 2008 and retired in September 2011. It was the first time in the world's history that a father and son had headed a nation's judiciary. His father, the late Tun Azmi Muhammad, was Chief Justice, then called Lord President of the Federal Court, from 1968 to 1974. 40 people from 12 families in Dongon became the first victims of monsoon season flooding in Terengganu today, following continuous heavy rainfall over the past 3 days. The evacuees, comprising 9 men, 19 women, 4 boys and 8 girls, were moved to the relief center in stages after their homes in Kampung Temiang and Kubang Putat were partially submerged by flood water. Village Community Management Council MPKK Deputy President Fuzi Ibrahim attributed poor drainage and the lack of improvisation in mitigation floods as the main causes of flooding in the area. He said the situation was made worse by activities of land reclamation for housing development projects, which make low-lying areas more vulnerable to flooding. According to the Immigration and Drainage Department JPS's website, the water levels in Sungai Temelong and Sungai Besut have reached the danger mark, with the former expected to reach 19.7 meters by midnight. The department also warned the Sungai Neros, Sungai Setiu and Sungai Chalok have exceeded the alert level. Sungai Neros and Sungai Chalok are expected to reach the dangerous level of 21 meters and 8.33 meters respectively by midnight. Meanwhile, a downpour that lashed the Klang Valley for over 2 hours earlier this morning has caused flash floods in several areas around Klang, Selangor. In Meru, flood waters rose to ankle-deep level, affected thousands of residents in 5 areas, namely Jalan Kenangan, Kampung Kenanga, Taman Daya Maju, Taman Sri Putri and Jalan Benteng. Several agencies have been instructed to monitor the situation in the areas as the water has not fully receded by afternoon. While in Kapa, hours of excessive rainfall also caused the water level at Sungai Kapa to rise, with water overflowing. However, no relief center has been opened at the affected sites in the district. A woman died after her motorcycle was hit by a pickup truck on the East Coast Highway near Temelloh, Pahang earlier today. District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Zundin Mahmud said in the 9:25 a.m. accident, the Toyota Hilux with the 3 passengers was on its way to Kuantan. The driver was believed to have lost control of the vehicle and skidded onto the emergency lane before hitting the victim's motorcycle from behind. The victim's body was thrown on the road while the Hilux crashed into a drain. The 40-year-old victim, Fatima Sulaiha Badarudin, died at the scene, whereas the 30-year-old Hilux driver suffered injuries to the head and is currently treated at the Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Hospital. The crash is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Also in Pahang, an employer accused of engaging in forced labor of 48 Indian nationals in Betong was arrested today. The suspect was detained when he went to the police station to lodge a report claiming his workers had absconded from employment. In a statement, the Labour Department said volunteers have transferred the Indian workers to the Batu Caves temple in Selangor for temporary shelter. The action was taken after a video of the Indian nationals appealing for help went viral on social media. The department had also mobilized 12 investigating officers to look into the case, with involvement from the police, Anti-Human Trafficking Council and Immigration Department. The foreigners claimed their employer initially promised them a monthly wage of 25,000 rupees per month. However, they were only paid for the first month of employment, while their passports were held by the employer. The Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, has roped in third-party sources or informants to furbish reports on possession of extraordinary wealth by individuals and revenues generated through offshore banking. Its Chief Executive Officer, Datuk Sri Sabin Samita, said such collaboration was carried out with other taxation authorities through the automatic exchange of information agreement signed in September. He also said a notice would be issued to those who failed to declare such possessions based on cross-checks carried out on the revenue listed in the board's database. And individuals who refuse to comply with the notice within 30 days can be fined 2,000 ringgit or 6 months imprisonment. Apart from the foreign taxation authorities, LHDN sources include insurance companies and the Road Transport Department. In addition, Bank Negara would also notify LHDN on any account transactions above 50,000 ringgit. More to come. Thief returns superbike back to its owner. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now let's take a look into clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Now, to have something precious stolen from you will definitely cause you to feel devastated, but to have it returned back to you by the thief who feel remorse for his action is indeed unusual. This is exactly what happened to Muhammad Khairul Anwar Muhammad Jamil, who yesterday morning found his car had been broken into and his Yamaha R6 superbike stolen at his home in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. But to his surprise, this is unlikely any other case anyone expects it to be. The 8 a.m. incident, which occurred at Flora Damansara, was first shared by Khairul in a post on Facebook. Kind netizen then tried to help him find his beloved superbike by spreading the word across several platforms. However, this morning, Khairul found 2 notes left on his car's window by the alleged thief. In the first note, the suspect said was sorry and did not mean to steal the superbike, and that he only wanted to experience riding one. In the second, the apologetic thief wrote the location of where the superbike will be. Khairul said in the beginning he thought he was being pranked, but decided to check the location anyway, and to his surprise found his superbike safe and sound. The man then proceeded to lodge a police report on the matter, adding he had forgiven the thief and grateful to have his motorcycle returned to him, but will leave it to the police on their next course of action. Now, updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. The excitement of the Deepavali celebration is felt nationwide today, marked by religious rituals and traditions as well as the usual open houses among Malaysian Hindu devotees. The underprivileged group should never be forgotten, especially during this Festival of Lights. Due to this non-governmental organization, the Od Jafar Institute, IOJ, is spreading the Deepavali joy by celebrating it with those less fortunate in the city centre. The IOJ Deepavali celebration this year was organized at the Homeless Transit Centre in Jalan Pahang, Kuala Lumpur earlier this morning. Some 250 homeless people, including underprivileged children, were treated to various delicacies and entertainment by volunteers involved in the charity event. IOJ Chief Executive Officer Charles Mohan said the Deepavali Open House by the NGO, already in its 3rd year, is part of its Jom Diwali program.
Satu program yang kami rasa unik dan juga memberi peluang kepada kanak-kanak kurang bernasib baik di sekitar Chowkit dan Kuala Lumpur serta penghuni di pusat transit gelandangan untuk sama-sama merasai kemeriahan sambutan Deepavali. Kita dapat lihat ada juga penghuni-penghuni India di sini yang tidak balik ke kampung halaman masing-masing dan kami ingin membawakan cahaya Deepavali itu dalam kehidupan mereka di PTG ini.
The open house program also saw the participation of 20 volunteer students from College Rahim Kajai, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM.
Kami akan buat kerja-kerja sukarelawan untuk membagi makanan-makanan free kepada ahli-ahli gelandangan dan pelarian. Kami juga ingin memberikan peluang untuk mereka untuk menikmati dan mempunyai pengalaman perayaan Hari Deepavali kepada mereka. So nanti sekarang kami sedang bagi makanan-makanan kepada mereka dan nanti kami akan buat persembahan-persembahan yang kami telah latih sebelum ni untuk bagi mereka untuk lebih mengenali dan mempunyai eksposi tentang perayaan Hari Deepavali.
Apart from the many delicacies, the underprivileged group were also entertained with music and cultural performances. Among those that contributed to the IOJ open house event was Equity Nasional Berhad Equinas in collaboration with Gombak Food Delivery Prihatin. Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia's Youth Wing Armada will reject Malaysia's ratification of the International Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, ICERD, as it weakens their rights under Article 153 of the Federal Constitution, including on the constitutional monarchy system and position of Islam. Armada Chief Syed Abdul Rahman said the wing's stand was based on the consensus reached by all Pakatan Harapan component parties. In a statement, he said any agenda to change and formulate policies in the new Malaysia must first go through Parliament. This means that changes must be the political will of Malaysians without outside interference. Yesterday, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the Cabinet had yet to discuss in detail the process of ratifying the ICERD. Meanwhile, Bersatu's Pulai division in Johor too is rejecting the ICERD's ratification. The division's chief, Yaakob Atan, said the government should not bow down to the pressures by certain parties as Malaysia already has a social contract as stipulated in the federal constitution. He added Malaysia has no need for ICERD or any other convention from other countries that will prove that we are unable to come up with our own laws, that we have to resort to theirs. If Malaysia ratifies ICERD, it will only affirm and be an acknowledgement of racial discrimination in the country. It is expected that a memorandum to protest the matter would be handed over to the party's Secretary General tomorrow morning to ensure that Bersatu's senior leadership understands the grassroots position on the issue. Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali is leading the PKR's deputy presidential race after 22 out of the 25 divisions in Sabah out of their official results following last weekend voting. To date, the Economic Affairs Minister has won 12 out of the 22 divisions. Now, according to PKR's official website, Datuk Seri Azmin garnered a total of 9,325 votes, while his challenger, former Pandan MP Rafizi Ramli, got 7,714 from 22 divisions. 3 divisions which have yet to release their official results are Pensiangan, Tawau and Keningau. As such, Datuk Seri Azmin has stretched his lead over Rafizi to more than 2,500 votes. The PKR poll will go to Sarawak next weekend and Melaka, where there will be a re-poll. There will also be a re-poll in Labuan, Kuala Selangor and Jelebu before the winner can be decided. When we come back, boy commits suicide after killing his grandmother. The details up next. Now on to sports. Super League champions Johor Darul Takzim JDT dominated the 2018 National Football Award after the team raked in 9 awards at the presentation ceremony last night. Now, however, it was national midfielder Safawi Rashid who became the center of attention as he became the youngest player to win the Most Valuable Player MVP award. Safawi's success came as no surprise following his brilliant performance last season with the Southern Tigers, the national under-23 side, and Harimau Malaya. The 21-year-old Terengganu-born also scooped the Best Midfielder and Most Promising Player award for his feat. Two more JDT players, Farizal Marlias and Haris Harun, made the Southern Tigers proud when they were named as Best Goalkeeper and Best ASEAN Player, respectively. Apart from dominating the players category, JDT bagged 4 more awards, namely the Best Team, Best Supporters, Best Social Media, and Best Website. A University Tunku Abdul Rahman assistant professor caught the attention of jury members at the L'Oreal UNESCO for Women in Science Fellowship Award ceremony for an ingenious research work that allows wastewater to power batteries. Dr. Lam Zi Moon, who was among the 3 local female scientists who walked home with 30,000 ringgit research grants after clinching the prestigious scientific recognition at the event. Over 150 female scientists took part in the annual event aimed at empowering women through science and technology. Dr. Lam's research involves treating non-sewage household wastewater, known as grey water, via a method that eliminates organic matters while harnessing the energy stored in them.
So benefit to the society is that you can generate a clean technology, clean and sustainable technology, and through the economical approach. So it will help to reduce the impact of the climate change.
Another winner, Dr. Chai Lei Ching of University Malaya, who won over the jury with her mission to develop a device that identifies harmful bacteria in food via specific scents, hoped that this award would inspire young girls to embrace science.
I actually always want to be an inspiration to some young girl to do science. So in fact, there are a lot of girls, they were told that, science probably is not a field that is suitable for you. But I think that through these awards, so I just want to tell people that, science can be glamorous and science can be very fun too.
Meanwhile, Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology, MJIT, at University Technology Malaysia Associate Professor Dr. Nurhayati Abdullah bagged the award for her inventive research that focused on recycling wastewater from palm oil production.
L'Oreal UNESCO is providing that platform for women in science and also for men to sponsor women in science. So I think this is highly encouraging, and L'Oreal now reminds me that in science there are so many elements that women can focus on. Besides research, you have to also look after yourself and also how you bring yourself forward in the public eye.
Launched in Malaysia in 2006, the L'Oreal UNESCO Award has since provided more than 1 million ringgit in research grants to 40 outstanding female scientists in the country. The program is a collaboration between the L'Oreal Corporate Foundation and UNESCO that has supported more than 2,700 young female scientists across the globe.